I'm going to go through a problem using the algorithm to find the mean hours of exercise per week for students, which we will need to use our data node catcher to find that data. So in class today, that's exactly what we did. We opened up our data node catcher, which is on the right-hand side here, and we looked at the chart for hours of exercising per week for students. And I'm going to enlarge this picture, pause the video and enlarge this picture. But I wanted to make sure that you know that it came from your node catcher. Okay, so now we have the picture blown up. And the algorithm that we talked about in class has a series of steps. So first you have to be able to understand how to read this graph. And this line plot over there to the right tells us all kinds of information. First of all, it tells us how many students there are. So the total number of students we can find by counting the dots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the total number of students is 15. And this was, if you don't remember, this is about students and how much they exercise per week. So for example, this student here exercises 6 hours a week. But this student over here exercises 9 hours a week. And this student over here is kind of a couch potato, doesn't exercise at all. The other thing we need to find the mean is we need to have also the total hours of exercise for all 15 students. Okay. So the way we're going to get that is we're going to look at each one of those dots and make a list for ourselves. Like the first dot right here, this dot right here, we know that one student doesn't exercise at all. And then for the second dot, so the second dot right here, we know that one student exercises for 3 hours. And for the next set of dots, we know that there's 4 students, and each one of them exercises 4 hours. So we're going to make our work organized now that we've thought about this. And we're going to get the total hours over here. So we're going to say one student does not exercise at all. And then we say one student exercises 3 hours. And then we notice that there's 4 students that exercise 4 hours. And we see that there are 6 students that exercise 5 hours. There are 2 students that exercise 6 hours. And there is 1 student that exercises 9 hours. And now we're going to multiply these out. So 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 4 is 16. 6 times 5 is 30. 2 times 6 is 12. 1 times 9 is 9. So I can add some of this up in a group. Like that would be pretty easy to add these three and get 19. And plus 30. I could add these two and get 21. And I know that 21 and 19 together make 40. So 40 plus 30 makes 70. So I did some mental math practice there. 70 hours of exercise for all of the students. Make a little extra space here. To complete the algorithm, I have to take the total number of hours, that's 70. So to find the mean, I take my total number of hours divided by the number of students that were sampled. So for example, if this survey, 15 students were asked, how much do you exercise a week? And then they answered the question. Then we created the dot plot, and now we're figuring out the mean. So we're going to use a little bit of space here to do long division. So I'm going to divide 15 into 70. 70. 15 doesn't go to 70 evenly, but I know that 4 times 15 is 60. When I subtract, I get 10. So I could say that my answer is 4 and 10/15. And that's the same as a reduced answer. I know 5 goes into both 10 and 15 to make 2/3. So I could say the mean hours of exercise is 4 2/3 hours per student. Or instead of doing 4 and 10/15, I could use decimal division. So the way I would do that is I would do 15. I'm going to scroll down and do the division problem again with decimals. 15 goes into 74 times. And let me just move that over a little bit. There we go. 4 times 15 is 60. When I subtract and get 10, since 15 doesn't go into 10, I put a decimal and a 0, and I bring that 0 down. I put a decimal up there, and I say 15 goes into 100 6 times. That's 90. When I subtract that, I get another 10. So I'd put another 0 here. And I recognize a repeating pattern. 6 times 15 is 90. And that pattern just keeps happening over and over and over. So another way to think of that is 4 0.6666. It's going to keep going. So we write that with a bar over the 6. But it's also really important that you can make meaning out of that. And so I would suggest you go to 2 decimal places, which means look at the 3rd decimal place. If that number is bigger than 5 or bigger, you're going to round the number before up. So we're going to say about 4.67 hours per student. So we worked this problem with the algorithm, and we came up with the answer written in fraction form and in decimal form. You should be able to do both. But if one is hard for you while we're focusing on statistics, pick the one that's easiest for you so you can do the statistics problem still. All right. Hopefully you are getting better and better at practicing the algorithm, because we've worked so hard on the ordered value bar graphs. And if you can do a problem 2 ways, then you're just that much stronger.